We all know the feeling, don't we? Conflict in a relationship. It often feels like this blinking red light, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, danger sign.
Exactly. A sign something's gone terribly wrong, maybe something to avoid at all costs, or, well, even the path to breaking up.
We all sort of want that easy ride.
That happily ever after where everything just flows
Mm.
effortlessly. But what if our fights, those messy, uncomfortable disagreements, aren't obstacles?
What if there's something else entirely?
Right. What if they're actually opportunities? Like
Mm-hmm.
real chances for profound connection, true intimacy, even significant personal growth.
That's the core idea here, really counterintuitive.
It is. And that's what we're exploring in this deep dive, our mission today. To give you a shortcut to being well-informed on this, well, truly surprising approach to relationships.
It really is a potential game changer. Our main source for this is The Heart of the Fight by Judith and Bob Wright.
Hmm.
And these authors, they bring over 30 years of research into human behavior, couples' work, plus, their own long marriage to the table.
So theory and practice.
Definitely. And they present what they call an eye and heart-opening truth that honestly challenges almost everything we think we know about healthy relationships.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to unpack their insights then, pull out the most important nuggets, I guess,
Yeah, the key takeaways.
and explore how, as they put it, the conflicts we think we should avoid are exactly where we have to go if we want that genuine, lasting connection.
It's a journey.
So get ready for an adventure in relating. We'll have surprising facts and, well, hopefully just enough humor to keep you hooked. All right, so let's start with that big question. Why do most people, even, relationship professionals sometimes, tend to avoid conflict or just handle it so badly?
Well, you touched on it. That desire for the happily ever after.
Yeah, it seems ingrained. A life free from discord. Sounds nice, doesn't it?
It sounds nice, but the Wrights argue this fantasy is actually, well, destructive. A destructive illusion.
How so? Destructive.
Because the core nugget here is, it makes us afraid to be real. It pushes us to sidestep problems, to fear the conflict itself, and then we become kind of inauthentic with each other.
Just to keep things nice.
Exactly. And then, when reality hits, because it always does, and it doesn't match that fantasy, we haven't learned how to argue productively.
Ah,
So the fantasy itself, ironically, creates the anger and heartache it was supposed to prevent.
that makes sense. They even share a story from their own marriage, right? About a counselor.
Yeah, it's quite telling. Their marriage counselor actually questioned them, asked if they wanted a divorce because their fighting was so intense.
Wow.
The counselor assumed, like many would, that intense fighting meant a bad relationship.
But for the rights?
It was the opposite. For them, it was actually their path to authentic, genuine interaction and growth.
So the counselor completely misunderstood. It highlights that core misunderstanding, really.
Mhm.
Conflict doesn't automatically mean falling apart.
Not at all. It can mean you're fully engaged.
And this isn't just their opinion, is it? There's research.
Absolutely. It backs them up. Conventional wisdom often teaches conflict resolution, like how to limit it or avoid it.
Right. Make it go away.
But the Wrights advocate for conflict completion, digging into it. And studies by researchers James McNulty and also John Gottman, they reveal that couples who have truthful, maybe even angry fights early on are actually happier over time.
Get out. Really?
Yeah, and surprisingly, those couples who seem really peaceful in the early years, they're actually more likely to divorce later.
No way.
It suggests that the, quote, temporary misery of early conflict is healthier long term. Your relationship is probably stronger than you think.
That's fascinating. So, okay, with that in mind, let's tackle some of these big relationship myths, the things we often take as gospel.
The destructive illusions, as the Wrights call them.
Right. Think of this like a quick quiz for yourself as we go through these.
Okay, let's do it. Myth number 1, chemistry is crucial. Or, that instant attraction means it's the right relationship.
Yeah, the spark
Yeah.
seems important.
Well, the truth is, not necessarily. That intense spark, it can just as easily lead you to, as they put it, hell is heaven.
Huh. Wow.
It's often an automatic response. You're reacting to people who unconsciously represent aspects of your parental relationships, good or bad.
So you're drawn to the familiar, even if it wasn't healthy.
Or sometimes the mirror image. The stronger the pull, the more likely they represent something deep from your past. And the surprising insight, sometimes people you aren't initially super attracted to might actually be better partners long term.
Wow. Okay, so the immediate spark isn't the gold standard. That's Quite a shift.
It is.
And if spark is overrated, what about compatibility? Surely having a lot in common matters.
That's another big one they tackle. Compatibility, they argue, is overrated and also pretty transient. It changes.
But don't happy couples have more in common?
Research apparently shows they're no more or less compatible than unhappy couples. The core insight here is if someone starts complaining about incompatibility, what they often really mean is, we're not getting along and I don't know how to fix it.
Ah, so it's a symptom, not the root cause.
Exactly. What truly matters isn't just shared hobbies, but shared values, a
Ah.
common sense of meaning or purpose, and crucially, a mutual dedication to growing together.
Okay. Values over hobbies. Got
Oh.
it. What about the classic, if it's true love, it should be easy, or just love is all you need?
Yeah, the Beatles might have been wrong on that one, relationship-wise. The rights are pretty direct. Love is neither logical nor linear,
You mean
meaning it's volatile, unpredictable, and governed by primal forces. It's powerful, messy stuff. And to really engage with it fully, you actually need the ability to responsibly clash over important issues.
responsibly clash?
I like that. Yeah. The key takeaway, true love requires work, active engagement, not just effortless ease.
Makes sense.
Mm.
Okay, next one. What happens when that initial thrill is gone? That intense passion fades? Does that mean you're falling out of love?
Not at all necessarily. That shift might just be the natural transition from that early, fiery infatuation, passionate love to what psychologists call companionate love.
Companionate love.
Yeah, it's less intense maybe, but it's this really powerful combination of attachment, intimacy, commitment, deep affection. And the critical point is this companionate love can then evolve into something even deeper, what they call consummate love or, bliss.
So it's not an ending, it's a deepening.
Exactly. A different phase, potentially much richer.
Okay. And finally, this big one. The belief that we're destined to find our one true soulmate. I know this is huge. Didn't a poll find like 73% of Americans believe this?
It's incredibly common, yeah. But the research cited suggests believing in a soulmate actually makes intimacy harder.
Harder. How?
Well, soulmate believers tend to look for those instant positive feelings, that immediate click, but relationships inevitably hit bumps, right?
Always.
And when problems arise, these believers often think, oh, well, I guess we weren't meant to be. And they might end promising relationships too soon instead of working through the challenges.
So they give up instead of digging in.
Pretty much. The powerful nugget here is your soulmate isn't found, they're made. Made through shared struggle, commitment, and growth.
Wow. Okay, so putting this all together, it means we basically need to rethink our whole understanding of love and relationships. We've been operating under some significant illusions.
We really have. And it completely changes how we should look at conflict.
Right.
The authors emphasize that the specific topic of the disagreement, the dishes, the toilet seat, whatever, it rarely actually matters.
It's not about the dishes.
It's almost never about the dishes. The key insight is it's what the fight means to the two of you and what you can learn from it. The real issues underneath are personal, deeply rooted, and need to be surfaced.
Which brings us to this core concept they introduce. Yearning. You said this is the first bliss skill.
Yes. And the book states, unmet yearnings are at the heart of every fight, and when they are met, they become the heart of our intimacy and satisfaction.
Unmet yearnings. So what exactly are they? How do we find them?
Think of yearnings as your deepest, most fundamental human needs and desires. They're powerful, deeply ingrained, evolutionary things.
Like core needs.
Core needs to relate, to bond, to matter, to be seen, to grow. When these deep yearnings aren't met, alarm bells go off inside us, and that often triggers fights.
Can you give an example?
Sure. They talk about George and Rita. George kept arguing about the messy house, but it wasn't really about the mess.
What was it about?
Underneath, it was his yearning for security and a deep need to know he mattered to Rita, that the house reflected how much she cared in his mind.
Okay. And Rita?
Her resentment wasn't just about being nagged. It stemmed from her yearning to be loved for who she was, flaws and all, not for how she looked or what she did.
So different yearnings clashing.
Exactly. And once they understood these underlying yearnings, their fights became richer. They started to actually see each other, not just the surface issue.
And this framework helps explain so many common fight patterns, right? Like the classic, if you really love me, you'd fight.
Oh, yeah. We all know that one.
It's not actually about wanting your partner to be a mind reader, is it?
Not really. It's about understanding why you or your partner plays that card. What belief about love is driving it? What unmet need? The core takeaway, These fights are a hidden cry for understanding what deep need isn't being met. What does love mean to you right now?
Right. And what about those really loaded ones? You're just like your mother or father fights.
Oof. Yeah, those can cut deep, especially if you have your own issues with that parent.
So how do you handle those productively?
The key, they say, is not to get bogged down arguing the accuracy of the comparison. Instead, try to fight about a specific behavior or attitude that triggered the comment.
Focus on the action, not the label.
Exactly. That lets you burrow down to a richer, more productive conflict. The insight is to look past the hurtful label to the specific thing that happened and the feeling it caused.
The authors, Judith and Bob, they shared their own experience with this too, didn't they?
They did. Judith used to tell Bob he was like his controlling mother or distant father. Ouch. But what she was unknowingly hitting on was his deep, underlying yearning to feel close and affirmed once he recognized that connection.
It changed things.
Dramatically. It wasn't just a personal attack anymore. It became a shared exploration of his needs and history.
That's powerful.
Oh.
What about other types? Like hidden middle finger battles.
Huh. Yeah, that's when dissatisfaction gets expressed indirectly. Like their example of Deneen, who stopped cooking meals Doug liked as a silent protest because he wasn't cleaning up,
Passive-aggressive stuff.
basically. And the key nugget there is indirect protest almost never works. It avoids the real conversation and breeds resentment.
Makes sense. And then the really volatile ones. Blame game or deception perception. Like Colin and Edie's story with the screaming and secrets.
Yeah, their story is intense but hopeful. We are totally stuck in this destructive cycle of blame, lying, hiding things.
How did they break out?
They had to uncover the roots. Colin's father's infidelity, Edie's family's financial instability, and the secrets around it, seeing how their pasts fueled their present reactions.
That was the key.
It allowed them to start replacing blame with personal responsibility. Their fights actually transformed into opportunities for inquiry and growth. And they even started becoming more like each other in positive ways. Edie more solid, Colin more spontaneous.
Wow.
The powerful takeaway, the surface fight, is rarely the real fight. True change comes from understanding the roots.
Okay, so this all leads to the how. How do we actually do this? How do we engage in these messy conflicts constructively?
Right. This is where the Wrights introduce their battling to bliss process. It's a set of 6 core relationship skills.
It's skills.
Yeah, and they emphasize this takes work. Understanding and intimacy through conflict take work. And ultimately, success depends on you taking responsibility, not just waiting for your partner. These skills build on each other.
Okay, let's dive in. Skill number 1 is reveal. What does that involve? Digging deep.
Exactly. Reveal is about understanding your own matrix.
My matrix. Like the movie.
Huh. Sort of. Think of your matrix as your brain's unique operating system. It gets programmed by your earliest experiences, mostly in the first 7 years. It creates unconscious beliefs, feelings, behavior patterns.
So it explains automatic reactions.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Like their example, Michael explodes when Sally is firm. He's not just reacting to Sally now. He's unconsciously fighting an unconscious memory of his father embedded in his matrix.
Reacting to the past and the present.
Yes. The absolute key insight of reveal is that every fight has a hidden history. Your partner isn't just reacting to you, they're often reacting to ghosts from their past. And so are you. Understanding that changes everything.
And this involves things like transference and projection.
Right. We do this constantly. Early on, we project all the good stuff onto our partner hopes, ideals. But when conflict hits, triggered by those old matrix memories,
You project the bad stuff.
we start projecting negative traits. Suddenly, that wonderful person seems uncaring, critical, just like, well, whoever hurt us in the past. The takeaway. What you see in your partner, especially the negative stuff, often tells you more about your matrix than about them.
That's confronting. What about attachment breaches?
This is huge. When we feel our connection is threatened, a perceived slight withdrawal, it can trigger an amygdala hijack.
The emotional brain takeover.
Exactly. Your thinking brain goes offline and your emotional brain takes over, flooding you with stress hormones. This leads to those default fight, flight, freeze, fawn responses, avoiding, scrambling for attention, shutting down, freaking out.
We've all been there.
Totally. But the good news is you can start to manage it. They suggest name it to tame it. Just noticing and saying to yourself, whoa, amygdala hijack happening, can actually calm the amygdala down and bring your thinking brain back online.
Awareness is key.
Awareness itself is the first step to regaining control. Huge nugget there.
And this ties into unfinished business and the false self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fights reveal hidden parts.
Definitely. Those "you're just like your mother, father" fights often point right at our unfinished business with our parents, or parts of ourselves we deny. The false self is that mask we wear, the persona we build to cope, often hiding our true feelings or needs.
Like Judith Wright's story about being called mean.
Exactly. She had this strong, nice person facade. When Bob called her mean, her instinct was to defend that false self fiercely.
But she changed.
She had a breakthrough. She started to own her strong opinions and her tendency to be straight-talking. And guess what? Owning it, integrating that part of herself, actually made her more trustworthy and, ironically, more adored. It's about moving from a false self to an authentic one.
Which leads to the next part of this skill, liberating. Freedom from old patterns.
Yes. Liberating is about exercising that freedom. It's not about massive overnight changes, but small, focused steps that challenge the old matrix.
Like the story of Dave and Hildy, the money fight.
Right. Hildy was furious. Loaded for bear, as they say. Dave's old pattern might have been to fight back or withdraw, but instead, remembering what he learned, he just looked her in the eye and hugged her.
And it worked.
It totally shifted the dynamic, melted her anger, opened up vulnerability. That small, counterintuitive act broke the pattern. Judith also shared how expressing herself more helped her see Bob as less arrogant, addressing her childhood feeling of being unseen. The key takeaway: small acts of courage can profoundly shift dynamics.
So how do we practice liberating beyond those moments?
It also involves actively challenging your limiting beliefs. You act as if you already believe the empowering opposite.
Fake it till you make it.
Sort of, but with intention. If your belief is "I don't matter," you deliberately act as if you do. The author suggests daily life assignments. Small things like asking for what you want clearly or expressing your opinion 5 times a day, even if it feels uncomfortable.
And that actually changes things.
Yes, because these actions build new neural pathways. You are literally rewiring your brain through behavior, the powerful idea. Your actions can change your beliefs, not just the other way around.
Okay, so we've revealed and started to liberate. Now, how do we engage productively in the conflict itself? You said it's more than active listening.
Oh, much more. The Wrights argue that true engaging means being truly present, addressing your yearning, and being emotionally aware, available, and expressive.
So less careful, more real.
Exactly. It's about being real, vulnerable, and truthful, not tiptoeing around with careful, stilted language. In fact, they cite research showing that standard active listening techniques were rated as one of the worst marital interventions.
Really? Why?
Because it often feels artificial and doesn't actually foster genuine connection or lead to real change. The core idea: stop trying to be polite and start being real.
Okay, be real. What else helps engagement?
A critical insight comes from Gottman's research: the ratio of constructive to destructive interactions. This is huge.
5-to-1 ratio.
That's the minimum for happy couples during disagreements. 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative. And some really robust couples can hit 20-to-1.
20 positives for every negative.
Wow. It means for every sarcastic comment, eye roll, criticism, what they call a toxic dump, you need at least 5 positives to counterbalance it. Things like showing interest, affection, finding points of agreement, using humor, validating feelings.
So you have to actively build up the positive bank account.
Massively. The key takeaway: you need way more constructive interactions than destructive ones to keep the relationship healthy during conflict.
They show this on an engagement continuum, right? From
Yeah.
destructive to constructive.
Yes, it maps it out. On the far left, you have the really destructive stuff. On the far right, you have constructive, even creative and transformative ways of engaging.
Let's talk about that destructive side. What are the big ones to avoid? Gottman's 4 horsemen.
Exactly. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. These are the biggest relationship busters.
Okay, number 1.
Criticism. This isn't just complaining about a specific behavior. It's attacking your partner's character. You always, you never. What's wrong with you? It paves the way for the next one.
Which is?
Contempt. This is truly toxic.
Yeah.
Sarcasm, cynicism, name-calling, disrespect, mockery, hostile humor, eye-rolling. Gottman calls it the greatest predictor of divorce.
Because it communicates disgust.
Essentially, yes. A feeling of superiority. It's poison.
Okay, number 3.
Defensiveness. Seeing yourself as the victim, denying responsibility, making excuses, cross-complaining. Yeah, well, you did this. Judith Wright jokes about her own past pattern. When Bob called her defensive, she'd yell back, "I am not defensive."
And irony.
Right.
And the 4th horseman.
Stonewalling or withdrawing. Shutting down emotionally, giving the silent treatment, physically leaving, tuning out.
Just disengaging completely.
Yeah. Interestingly, men tend to stonewall more often as a way to calm down their own physiological flooding. But this typically jacks women up, making them pursue harder, which makes the man withdraw more.
A vicious cycle.
Exactly. The message is crystal clear. These four behaviors need to be eliminated as much as possible.
Are there other destructive patterns besides the horseman?
Yes, there are also what they call passive destructive behaviors. Things like consistently avoiding conflict altogether, withholding affection or communication as punishment, keeping secrets.
And soft addictions?
Right. Things that seem harmless but drain energy and prevent real connection. Compulsively checking your phone, excessive gaming or TV watching, overworking, overeating. Anything that serves as an escape or numbing mechanism, preventing you from being truly present and engaged. The takeaway. Anything that consistently distracts you from genuine presence can be a relationship buster, too.
Okay, this is a lot to take in. So we reveal, liberate, engage.
Right.
But how do we make these positive changes actually stick? How do we build new, lasting patterns?
This brings us to the skill of rematrixing.
Rematrixing. Changing the matrix.
Essentially, yes, it leverages the brain's amazing neuroplasticity.
The brain changing itself.
Exactly. Its ability to literally build new neural circuits of beliefs, behaviors, and relating based on new experiences. And here's the really cool part. Fights, conflict moments, are actually optimal opportunities for brain changing.
Why fights? That seems counterintuitive again.
Because during conflict, those deep, implicit, unconscious memories from your matrix are highly active. They surface, and that makes them available for rewiring.
How does the rewiring happen?
This is where it gets truly fascinating. The Wrights explain that you and your partner can rewire each other as adults.
We can rewire each other.
Yes. Your partner can act like an external cortex for you. When you feel that old pain, that trigger from your past surface during a fight, and your partner responds differently this time with empathy, understanding, validation.
Instead of reacting defensively.
Right. When they offer that warmth and compassion, you can literally wire this empathy right into our disturbing memory. Every time you recall a memory, it gets slightly re-encoded. So a new, positive response from your partner gets linked to that old, painful memory, gradually changing its emotional charge.
That's incredible. Neurobiological magic.
It really is. The key takeaway. Your partner can be a powerful agent in healing your past wounds through present connection.
This connects to the idea of repair, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The Wrights stress this. It's not the fight or the rupture in connection that's the biggest problem. It's the lack of repair.
The failure to reconnect afterwards.
Exactly. They share that amazing research on mothers and babies. Even great mothers are out of sync with their babies like 70% of the time.
70%, that's huge.
It is. But what makes them great mothers isn't perfect attunement. It's that they consistently repair the rupture. They notice the disconnect and reconnect. The same holds true for couples. The core nugget. Rupture is inevitable. Repair is essential.
So how do we repair effectively?
It starts with recognizing the rupture happened. They use the example of Connor and Charlotte. Connor started seeing his wife not just as a harpy shrew when she was upset, but as a scared little girl hungry to be acknowledged.
Seeing the vulnerability underneath.
Yes. And that shift allowed him to reach out to offer comfort instead of escalating the fight. That's repair. It enabled rewiring for both of them. And the crucial insight: repair is always available. You can even initiate it yourself by acknowledging your part, your reaction, taking responsibility.
What about soaking in the positive? How does that fit with rematrixing?
This is about actively building those positive neural circuits. It means consciously taking in, absorbing your partner's affection, appreciation, positive comments.
Not just brushing them off.
Right. Judith shared her own example. Bob is very affectionate, but her old matrix, I'm not lovable, made her dismiss it. So she had to consciously practice soaking it in, telling herself, oh, Bob is looking at me adoringly. I am lovable. That conscious focus helps build and strengthen those new empowering neural pathways. You're actively programming your brain for more positive experiences.
Actively programming for love.
Okay.
And this whole process culminates in the final bliss skill.
Yeah.
Dedicating.
Yes. Dedicating is the capstone. And it's more than just deciding not to divorce. It's a lifetime commitment to conscious living and loving.
Conscious living and loving.
It means committing not just to the relationship, but to becoming your best selves within it. It's not about staying together just because of constraints, kids, finances, fear of being alone. It's an active choice for growth. The powerful takeaway: dedicating means choosing to be your best self, for yourself and for your partner.
They shared the story of Doug and Deneen, right? How dedication transformed them.
Yeah, it's a really inspiring example. Through applying these skills and consciously dedicating, they not only saved their relationship, but individually thrived. Both earned doctorates, grew their careers, raised a child. Their story highlights that commitment requires each person to take full responsibility for their own happiness and growth first.
That seems key, taking responsibility for yourself.
It is. And the rights distinguish between sliding versus deciding. Too many couples just slide into deeper commitment moving in, getting married out of convenience or momentum.
Instead of making a conscious choice.
Right. Dedicating is frontal lobe living. It's using your conscious mind, your intention, your will to choose the relationship actively, day after day, and to stay on the path of growth. The core idea. Choose your relationship deliberately. Don't just drift into it.
And they mentioned backdoors and soft addictions, again here, as things that undermine dedication.
Exactly. Those escape routes, whether it's workaholism, gaming, affairs, emotional withdrawal, they let vital energy leak out of the relationship.
Energy that could be fueling connection and growth.
Precisely. Dedicating involves consciously closing those back doors and redirecting that energy back into yourself, your partner, and your shared life. It helps you connect with your deeper yearnings instead of chasing superficial cravings.
Okay, so those are the 6 skills. Reveal, liberate, engage, rematrix, and dedicate. That's a powerful framework.
It really is a roadmap for turning conflict into connection.
Now let's talk practical tools. What are some key rules of engagement people can use right away?
Okay, some great ones from the book. First, no one gets more than 50% of the blame.
50% max.
Yep. It always takes 2 to create a dynamic. They even mention third graders using this rule effectively. If each person takes their 50% responsibility, arguments resolve much faster. Key nugget. Take your half, let your partner take theirs, stop fighting over the blame pie.
That's huge. And related to that,
You each get 100% responsibility for your happiness and satisfaction. Your partner isn't there to make you happy, that's your job.
so focus on yourself first.
Ask yourself, what do I yearn for? What can I do about it? Shift from blaming your partner to empowering yourself.
Okay, what else?
Another big one, admit when you are wrong. This is tough for many of us, but they say losing is winning here.
Losing is winning.
Yeah. Being willing to see the truth in your partner's point, even if it means acknowledging your own mistake or flaw, builds massive trust and goodwill. It actually sets you free from defensiveness. The powerful takeaway, humility unlocks progress.
Makes sense. Any others?
Fight for, not against. Remember those yearnings. They're always for something positive: connection, understanding, security, mattering.
So focus on what you want to create.
Exactly. Direct your energy toward fighting for that positive goal, not just against your partner or their viewpoint. It changes the whole dynamic from adversarial to collaborative.
And the last rule.
Assume goodwill. This is crucial. Even when your partner acts in ways that feel hurtful, try to operate from the assumption that at their core, they aren't intentionally trying to harm you.
That doesn't excuse bad behavior, though.
Not at all. But assuming goodwill helps you stay out of constant defensiveness and opens the door to understanding the reason behind the behavior, which is often rooted in their own pain or unmet yearnings.
Okay, those are great rules. What about actionable, doable tasks for everyday life?
Yes, some really practical tips. First, fight early and often.
Wait, fight often.
Yes. Don't let things fester. Forget the idea that ignoring problems makes them go away. If you sweep stuff under the carpet, you'll just trip on it later.
Address things when they're small.
Exactly. The happiest couples deal with issues quickly, early, and often because it's much easier than letting them blow up. The advice is clear. Nip it in the bud.
Connected to that is sweat the small stuff.
Right. Don't let those little annoyances or disagreements build into huge resentments. Satisfied couples address the small bumps rather than creating big detours around them.
Okay. What else? Daily talks.
Yes, schedule one non-logistical talk daily, even just 15 minutes. Talk about feelings, dreams, fears, hopes, anything but chores, schedules, and who's picking up the kids.
Prioritize emotional connection.
Crucial for deepening intimacy.
And fighting boredom.
Shake it up, baby. Introduce novelty, surprise, variety into your routine. Too many couples get stuck in ruts. Consciously do new things, go new places, break patterns. Keep the adventure alive.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And finally, power dynamics.
Share power and follow the highest denominator. Healthy relationships involve mutual respect and shared decision-making.
Gottman's research on men accepting influence?
That's the one. If men consistently refuse to be influenced by their female partners, the chance of divorce skyrockets 81%, according to his findings. It's about empowering each other, recognizing competence in different areas. True partnership means mutual influence.
Wow, that's a stark statistic.
It really highlights the importance of shared power.
Okay, so as we draw towards the end, they wrap this all up with a metaphor, right? The marital arts.
Yes, the marital art way of life. Like martial artists learn skillful ways to handle force and tension, couples can learn to skillfully navigate the inherent tensions and contradictions in relationships.
Like togetherness versus individuality.
Exactly. Intimacy versus distance. Security versus adventure. It's about becoming warriors of the heart, dedicated to learning, growing, and mastering the art of relating.
And in this martial art, partners become allies, the Michelangelo phenomenon.
Beautiful concept, isn't it? You actively help sculpt your partner's ideal self. You see their potential, support their vision for who they want to become, maybe even see possibilities they don't see in themselves yet.
Like Bob did for Judith with her writing.
Precisely. It's about being allies in each other's growth, actively co-creating your best selves together.
And they mentioned developing emotional facility, the 4 directions.
Right. Developing emotional maturity in is knowing what you're feeling inside. Out is expressing those feelings responsibly and authentically.
It's not dumping, but sharing.
Exactly. Up is being able to amplify emotions when needed, accessing joy, activating anger for change. And down is being able to soothe yourself, decrease intensity when overwhelmed.
And naming feelings helps.
Hugely. Just naming the emotion, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling scared, calms the amygdala, brings the thinking brain back. And never forget the power of touch.
Oxytocin?
Yes. Supportive touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It builds trust, reduces stress, helps your brain relax and problem solve. It's the literal neurobiological magic of a tuned connection, rewiring your brain through loving interaction.
So as we wrap up this really rich deep dive, the central message seems clear. Your relationship conflicts. They aren't signs of failure. They're not something to just get rid of.
Absolutely not. They are essential. Necessary, even.
It's about fighting the good fight, isn't it? A courageous journey, as they say, to battle to bliss.
That's the heart of it. Using your yearnings as your compass, engaging authentically, revealing your true self, liberating from the past, rematrixing your brain for new possibilities, and dedicating to conscious growth.
So here's a final provocative thought for you, our listener, to maybe chew on. What if every single fight you've ever had in romance, family, work, anywhere, what if it isn't just a problem to solve? What if each one is actually a powerful, unmissable invitation, a kind of call to adventure?
An adventure, too.
To discover profound new depths within yourself and to reach unprecedented levels of intimacy and connection with others.
That's a powerful reframe. And the authors really emphasize that for couples who take this journey, who battle to bliss, the rewards just keep unfolding. It's a path to ongoing personal transformation and ultimately ever-deepening love.